eyes for a second. Close your eyes. Let it go. And I want you to walk up that driveway to the house. And you open the door. And she's right there. Wait. You just hug her.
Eyesight from everything at the bottom.
Became a mighty battle cat, and I became He-Man.
Can I hide with you?
Oh, you want to know if you can hide with me or if I can hide with you. You choose. Would you like to hide together?
You hide with me.
Now we're under here.
28, 29, 30. Ready or not, here I come. And you.
Well, hi, Claudia. Thank you so much for being part of our fourth annual Innovative Child Therapy Symposium. You are a really important person in my life, and you are one of the most knowledgeable people in my world when it comes to Sandtray Therapy. I know it's one of your passions and definitely one of your huge skill sets. So I wanted to really kind of delve into what is Sandtray with you here today. Um, I first met you at the Association for Play Therapy Conference in Arkansas back in 2021. And then I recently, at the time of this recording, I had been to a training with Marshall Lyles in Austin, Texas, and you offered to pick me up and show me around. And I just fell in love with your just
You regretted it.
oh my goodness, you're so fun. You're so alive and you are so heartfelt. You're one of the just the most amazing people that I've met. So I'm already getting kind of emotional thinking about it. So I'm really excited to share the Sandtray stuff with the symposium viewers. But before we get started, let me have you just tell people who you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, it's such an honor to get invited. And I just adore you. You are one of the sweetest and kindest people I know. And I admire you for all the work that you do and expanding play therapy and Sandtray and the knowledge, to different people. So thank you, because I know it's a lot of work. Um, and
Thank
so,
you, girl.
and
Thank you.
you have my heart, you know that. Let me tell you a little bit about me.
Yeah.
My background comes from school. So I was a kinder teacher and a school counselor. I always, since I was in high school, I wanted to be a school counselor to help other students the way my school counselor helped me.
Mm.
And so then my ex then joined the Army after 9/11. So we moved to Texas because I used to live in California.
Oh,
And then in Texas, I became a teacher and a school counselor. And as a kindergarten teacher, I was just so playful and lively, and I would just come up with all these games and play with my students. And so when I became a school counselor and I started working towards my license to be a therapist,
yeah.
and then I learned about there's such thing as play therapy in Gary Landreth. Like I thought I invented some of the strategies I was already using with my children, right, with my students.
Wow.
And so I just fell in love with play therapy and Sandtray and the expressive arts. And I truly feel passionate. Like if I was a millionaire, I would do this for free. Like I would, you know what I mean? Because I just really love it. and not only working with children and families, but also helping other therapists learn these tools and strategies, because I witnessed the magic, right? I have witnessed how children and people healed deep trauma
Mhm.
using Sandtray and play therapy and EMDR and parts of self, and just integrated all the poetry and collage, and integrating all these things that are so powerful, because images are so powerful, right? And then we can use images instead of words, and they have such a deeper understanding, even among languages, right? Because even like I'm a bilingual therapist, and so then an image says 1,000 words. So,
Mhm.
anyways, I'll totally geek out on you. Keep talking.
It sure does. As you're saying that, I think about when I was in Austin, we were walking around those little shops, and there's such beautiful little figurines in all of those shops. And you're like, this one could be used for this. Look at this one. Look at it was like a kid in a candy store. You're like, Chucky, look at this. I was like, oh my goodness.
You're like, I have to take it back to Florida. Like, do you? I'll mail it. We can mail it. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And when you say EMDR, for those of you watching that's not familiar, that stands for the eye movement desensitization reprocessing. It really integrates nicely into Sandtray therapy. So, um,
Boy, and most of those things are really the right brain, techniques and strategies, right? That helps us go even deeper to the trauma piece, to the feelings, to creativity and imagination, and helps the brain integrate all these pieces.
yes. Okay. Oh, I love that. This is the neuroscience piece of it. Look, what is Sandtray for someone if they've never heard of it? How would you describe it in like a little nutshell?
So, well, it's a tray full of sand, but
Mhm.
but there's different kinds, right? So you can have the standard size tray, which is like a rectangular size tray, or depending on your approach, right? Because different people will have different approaches. But I do sand tray. So sand tray also allows like round trays, and then I'll show you real quickly right here on my center table. If I open it up, there's a hexagon
Mm.
tray in there. And if you can see, there's different types of sand. So the sand in my octagon is more like a red sand. The sand in my
What is
rectangular tray is sparkly white, right? I love Jurassic sand.
yeah.
Um, so I have.
Actually, I have a 10% off coupon for them that I'll put below this video. So
Yay.
in case anybody, that one is what the red is called just the red sand. I can't remember the names of them. And the sparkly one isn't quite as thick and it has a different felt sense to it. Boy, you have options there.
Yes. So the sand one, I think the white, the sparkly one, I heard that is made out of like glass, like broken glass. You know how sand can make
Yeah.
glass, and then sand. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
that type of thing.
Little
It is a
tiny pieces.
little tiny round pieces. So it is a little slippery. So if you don't have carpet in your floor, you just have to be careful, right? Because it can be a little slippery, but it's really sensory. Like some of my kids love it, and they just dig their hands and they start playing with it and then manipulate it. I also have other buckets with like kinetic sand and moon sand, and
All
yeah.
kinds of sand.
The kids are like, where are you put, like, how come we have so much sand, and where's all these trays coming from? Uh, so
Okay, so sand tray, what you just described to me seems like so regulating and so like putting your hands in it, but you have some miniatures back there, those little figurines.
yes.
What is like what what is sand tray for? Like what is it
On this,
how does it help?
so in the tray of sand, right? Like
Yeah.
the tray is like your mind, your subconscious, right?
Yeah.
And then the sand just holds whatever comes to the surface, right?
Mhm.
And your brain just uses the images
Yeah.
to express whatever you need to express, right?
That's
So let's just pretend a kid comes. I'm just gonna make up a scenario, right? Like there's this kid whose mom and dad are getting divorced, right? And instead of this kid going to therapy to talk to a therapist and sit down and say, "Oh, Miss Claudia, like my mom and dad are getting divorced and they're always arguing, and it just feels so frustrating, and I feel torn between both of them because I love them both. But then I don't know where no kid is gonna have the vocabulary to express themselves like that, right? A grown up sometimes does not have the vocabulary to express themselves like that.
And it feels
So
so vulnerable too, saying those things
and
out.
even just saying those things, right? Like you feel yucky, and I just totally made up the scenario, right?
Yeah.
But if I just notice in their body how they're dysregulated and activated, I might say, you know what? Let's not even talk about it, right?
Yeah.
Let's just go on the sand tray and let's just see what comes up for your brain. So then the kid will start touching the sand, they start getting regulated, and they might get, and I'm just making from the top of my head, they might get a crocodile, they might get a dinosaur, and the crocodile and dinosaur are fighting in the sand. He might not know this is my mom and this is my dad, right? Like he's just playing with a crocodile and a dinosaur, and then some firefighters come because the house is on fire and there's some snakes hiding, and then it's whatever his subconscious is bringing to the surface, and
Yeah.
his brain is processing whatever is happening internally, and in his head or her head, I'm just here playing with Miss Claudia with the dinosaurs and the crocodiles, right?
Yeah.
But with my training, I'm able to recognize the themes that are coming to the surface.
Yeah.
And I might, and I don't have to interpret what comes to the surface, right? I don't have to like analyze it and say, oh yeah, the mom's a crocodile and the dad's a dragon, and they're always, I just need to allow it and feel it and let my nervous system and his nervous system hold the space, right? And I just witness and I track, like, oh wow, that the crocodile seems really, really upset right now. And then, oh, now the firefighters are coming, and I just track what he's doing in the sand so that he can feel seen.
Ooh.
And I can witness, his pain, his trauma, whatever is coming. Like I can hold it, the sand can hold it, the tray contains it, right?
Yeah.
And then like he just poured all of these things that he was carrying into the sand.
Yeah.
And then he gets to go home lighter, right? And I stay behind and I clean it because that way he can trust that I can hold whatever he can and dump it in
Oh.
the tray, right? And the way I tell kids is like, it's like if a grown-up was here and they were crying tears, right? Because they're sharing all their feelings, and then they have all these tissues with their tears. And then when they leave, I'm like, take your tears with you, take your tissues with you. I don't want them. No, right? Like I keep those tissues and I dispose of them. Like they stay here. So whatever comes to the surface in the tray is for me to take and hold and put away. And then next time they come, there'll be a fresh tray for them ready.
I love that. So you leave that scene intact. When you talk about like the witnessing and like telling the story through the metaphor, it makes me think about like when we are not alone in a situation, it makes the world of difference. I mean, even us, like as friends, when I've like had a distressing moment and reached out to you to call you, I immediately feel a sense of relief. And this is on such a higher, powerful level. Like I have shared my world with someone through the expression, this playful expression. Wow, how beautiful, just the witnessing piece of it.
That's what we all humans want, right? I think we all want to be seen, we all
Yeah.
want to be held, and we all want to be witnessed and loved and being taken care of, right? And so they just know that this is their space. So in my closet, so then we use images.
Oh, that's nice. Your decoration, like the design of your office is gorgeous.
Oh,
Wow.
thank you. So in my space, well, let me close it. So first,
You used a closet. That's brilliant.
I have the closet. Yes. So my office had a closet. And so then whenever it's closed, right, it looks like a regular office.
Yes.
And then when the kids get here and then we open and they're like a whole different world.
Oh.
And they're like amazed. So I use these little pockets. They're like shoe holders. They
Ooh.
cost like $10 on Amazon. And so then I have my transportation on this side, and then I have my animals on this side.
Different themes.
And then my cart just rolls.
Oh. Where did you design this yourself? Like where did
it was a serving cart from like Costco that I just had someone cut the handles, and then I just laid my tray on top.
Oh, it's so
And so
cool.
and once you enter the closet,
Oh, I love it. This
and
is
then
beautiful.
these ones are little shelves wherever they have like the nail polish salon place
Oh, okay, to hold the little bottles.
to hold the little bottles, and then they come like in a pack of 6, I believe, in Amazon also for like $10.
Oh,
So and then I do use this little spice racks to bring
mhm,
like little steps
clever.
so that you can see the different levels of
Yeah.
so
Oh,
you can see
that's
different
really
levels.
clever. That look literally you have maximized the use of space there. Like there's like like
Yes.
that could literally take up a whole room and all kinds of walls, and you put it in a nice contained way so it's not visually overwhelming for someone that's not using it as well.
Yeah, especially some of the kids that have sensory issues, right? They might feel overwhelmed. So yeah, so my space is really I wanted it I wanted it to feel safe, not only for children but for adults also. Like I have been in some playrooms where as a mom going to therapy, if I went to a therapist that had those playroom slash office
Yeah,
that had all the toys, like I was like, wait, I wanted to leave my house to come to a Zen place and I'm coming to a playroom that it's
yeah.
triggering. And so I
I've
wanted
I've been that therapist that's had that, and there is that like gosh, is this space like free from like, a place where they can be serene and not look at like the kitchen set or the dolls. You
uh
you fix that problem.
so yeah, so everything's put away, but then now when the kids they might spend 1 or 2 sessions exploring the space and then they know where everything is and they'll just come and I said the only rule in the space is I'll keep you safe and you keep me safe and then we'll try to keep the toys safe. Accidents happen sometimes, but we're not going to purposely break the toys. And
Oh,
so then that's the only rule. And they're like, wait, what? I can like climb on the sofa without shoes. And I'm like, well, is it keeping you safe? Is it keeping me safe? They're like, yeah. I was like, totally. Can I climb on the sofa with you? Like, I want to climb on the sofa too. Uh,
oh my goodness, you're so fun. So that's like I think you talk about like authentic, that authenticity is like you through and through, whether it's you as a mom, as a friend, as a therapist, as a consultant, as a
oh, yeah. One time a kid said, Miss Claudia, kind of weird. You look like a mom and a teacher, but then you act like a kid. So they're trying to figure it out. Like, I don't know what you are. Like, you look like a grown up, but you act like a kid. And I was like, yeah, pretty much. You got me, kid. You're describing me. I am a kid.
Yeah, that sums it up. You can put that on your resume, like on your
I should put that on my resume, right? I look like a grown up, but I'm really a kid.
Okay, so we talked about like you could I could be your client for a demonstration for like a real live one that we don't have planned where I could kind of pick out some miniatures, put them in the sand and see where it goes.
Yeah. So one thing that is really important with Sandtray or Sand Therapy, right? With the Sand Therapy approach, you can be directive. So you can give someone a directive like, oh, can you make a Sandtray about your family, right? Or can you make a Sandtray about how was your day today? Or make a Sandtray about mom and dad's divorce or about the bully
Yeah,
at school, right? Or
it's
um,
specific.
about grief, right? You can be very specific and give the target or the directive of what you want them to process,
Mm,
or you can be non-directive and say let's just trust your brain to bring to the surface
yeah,
whatever needs to come to the surface, right?
yeah.
And then just those words of like, I trust your brain is going to do whatever needs to be done, and I trust that your brain is going to use the images to let both of us know whatever's happening inside of your brain, right?
Oof.
And if they're like, wait, if Miss Claudia trusts my brain, then I can trust my brain.
Hmm.
And then allowing the images to be without judgment. And
Hmm.
I learned this from it was one of my first Sandtray trainings from my RPTS with my mentor, right?
Hmm.
She had a group of us around the table. And she had us all pick a miniature.
Yeah.
And so I picked this crown I might sound a little shallow. I'm just gonna say it. I picked this crown because it was pretty and it was colorful and it was shiny and
Just
he had
caught
like
your eye.
right, and he had like jades and rubies and emeralds. Like he had all sorts of like jewels, right? And it was like so pretty, right?
Like pretty things too.
Pretty and shiny and colorful. Yes, pretty much. Not fancy, just pretty and colorful and shiny. And then somebody else picked like a tree that was like a fall tree, and then another one picked like a spring tree, and another person picked a dragon, and somebody else like different people pick different things, right? So then we were supposed to write in our own journal what this piece meant for us, right? And I wrote, "It's pretty and colorful and shiny." This was a long time ago, and I was a lot younger. Okay, I'm mature since, but I still picked the crown. And so then the crown, like we all wrote in our journal what our piece meant for us, right? And then my crown went around the table. And then the person next to me was supposed to express what the crown meant for them, right? And so the one person said, "Oh my God, when I see this crown, I just feel the heaviness of like being responsible for like a whole kingdom and like and then being like in charge of like everyone and having to take care of everyone." I'm thinking, oh my God, that's not why I picked the crown, right?
It's so different, like polar opposite of it's beautiful and shiny and sparkly.
And then somebody else held the crown. The next person says, "Oh my God, I just feel like the the elite, and the discrimination and how like the peasants are poor and suffering while the rich are like enjoying life or whatever." And I'm thinking, oh my God, I better not share with this group why this stupid crown, because everyone is like going so deep with the stupid crown. And so it's going around and everyone's sharing these like huge revelations and in depth about like kingdom and responsibility and right. And so then it gets to me. And Renee says, "Claudia, why did you pick the crown?" And I'm like, "Oh no, I have to share because I don't want to share."
Did you
I'm
share?
gonna read what I wrote earlier. So then I read, "It's just so pretty and shiny and like colorful." And then she said, "Like you, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And so then
Oh,
that was so meaningful because it really dug home how I cannot interpret an image or a piece my client puts in the tray,
oof,
my perspective of what it means to me. And
oof.
I need to trust that that piece means what it means to that client,
Wow.
right?
Wow.
So,
And there's so many, like everyone had a different representation to it.
right. And the person that picked this really dark dragon, we're all like thinking, oh my God, a dragon so aggressive and so like big and like, and we're all having these really negative connotations about the dragon. And then when the person share about the dragon, they're like, no, this dragon is protecting his family. He's
Oh,
not vicious. He's not attacking anyone. He's just trying to keep people safe, right?
the protector.
And if anything, he's scared of his people being hurt, right? And
Mm.
he's just protective. He's not gonna hurt anyone on purpose. Like he's not gonna initiate anything. But if you mess with the dragon, he might burn you, right? Uh,
Breathe out fire. I think about like how that, like one piece can be whatever anyone needs it to be. Wow. I like had that happen with a rat before, whereas, I looked at the rat and I was like, oh. No, actually, let me tell you the bone story. Like someone put bones in there, like for, you get from the Dollar Tree, the little skeletons. And I looked at the bones and they were standing up and then they went underneath this, they went underneath the sand and the person stood them up. And I was like, oh, I wonder, I didn't say that loud, but I was wondering if there's any grieving going on. I didn't remember anything. But I was like, tell me about this part. And then the person's like, that reminds me of my strength. I have bones. I can stand up. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was making all this meaning in my head. And really, it was the strength that was the
you're like,
resource.
you're right. You're right. You're so strong, and your bones are so strong. And our bones lets us, and then that's why approaching Sandtray with this place of curiosity, right? Not from the place of like, I know it all because I've done all the trainings, because maybe you haven't done all the trainings, and that's okay. I think that sometimes it's even better because you're open to learn from your client and you're like, oh, that's interesting over here. I wonder what this piece means, or I wonder what
Yeah.
I wonder what this this image will say to this other image if they could talk, right? And then you
Oh,
start having images talking to each other and having conversations and talk about parts of self, right?
it's like integrating their self.
Yes. And integrating themselves. Sometimes if you they build their Sandtray and then you have them look at your Sandtray from the front and then from the side and then go around the whole Sandtray, right? And at the different perspectives.
Yeah.
Or what is this image looking at? Like go down and peek, right? And here's the Sandtray and you're peeking. And then you're like, oh my God, this image is looking directly over here.
Yeah.
And what are they thinking? And just from this place of curiosity, I wonder, you know?
Yeah.
Hmm, it
That
is.
whole looking like the perspective thing is fascinating. I even had a client that liked to take pictures. And such insight can come out like from that one's point of view. They don't see any obstacles and they're going from it. But if you look at this one, there's nothing but obstacles and it all has meaning. It's amazing.
And then one time I went to another training where they were teaching us mandalas in the Sandtray,
Ooh,
right? And so it was a very Jungian approach of the locations in the Sandtray and what he meant and how he moved. And so the deeper you go into learning all those pieces, right, the more the more you're able to conceptualize the teams and you can see when things are shifting in the person's brain because of their stories changing or it's evolving. um, it's just it really is like magic. And so one time I used to do it in the school setting too. So I used to be a school counselor forever and I set up my office like a playroom, right?
mhm.
And so at the beginning, teachers would tell me, I'm not going to send my students to your class so they can play with your toys. Like, I'm sending you the bad kids so you can, like, be mean to them, right?
Oh, like it was a reward they didn't
Right?
understand.
Like, they're getting a reward to go play with you and your toys and your sand when they've been making bad choices. And I just, and I work really hard to educate them about the brain and about, all those pieces. And then by the third year, some of those teachers would say, you know what? Take little Johnny and go fix him with your son with the same thing you do. Go fix this kid. And I was like, okay, there's some progress there. But I was doing training to teach other school counselors how to do this in the school setting, right?
Mhm.
And so I asked some of the kids like quotes, right? Like you've done Sandtray with me like this whole month or this whole semester. What would you how would you explain Sandtray to like other kids or like to people that don't know what it is?
Yeah.
And then I remember this kid literally said, Miss Ocampo, Sandra's like magic. Like, like how else can I explain it? It's like magic, right?
That
And
was his description of what
I
he
was like,
experienced.
Sandra is magic. 3 words. You're right, buddy. Sandra, it is magic. Um,
It is. Even stuff you don't know that's bothering you. In grad school was my first experience with it, and they had us get the miniatures from the table and bring it back. And I have to say, like at that point in time, I was like on a whole different plane. I was like, why are we doing this ourselves? We're learning how to do it with kids. Like, I don't want to, I'm an adult. And then so I just randomly picked up some pieces, took them back, and the therapist or the person being the therapist, in that setting, said, "What? Tell me about this part." And I had put like a motorcycle in there, but it was knocked over, and I was like, "I don't know about this part." In fact, the only person that I know has a motorcycle is my dad, and he doesn't even drive it anymore. He just got diagnosed with cancer a month ago, and I didn't even realize that was back there. And then at the time, it wasn't such a good space in my marriage. And then I had like a couch over here and kids and a family over here, and there was something in the middle, a big TV. And I was like, oh my goodness, this is my world. And
yes.
I wasn't even trying. I literally just picked things just for the activity. I had no intentionality at all. That's when I was sold. I was like, it truly felt like magic.
And every single piece in the tray is a part of you.
Uh,
And you're right, there's times that we don't know what the piece means, right? Like I one of my mentors is Teresa Kesley. She's in New Mexico and I just adore her and she is Sandra Guru.
and
And
we'll put a link below this video to her trainings as
yes, she is amazing. She is worth every penny. Um, and so I remember I went to see her for like I did 2 levels in 1 week, I believe. This is before COVID, like way long time ago. And
Mhm.
so then I had spent months doing my Sandtray because I was doing my own Sandtrays at work after like seeing clients, right, to wrap up my day. And when every time I did a Sandtray at a training or by myself, I needed a lighthouse like on the top right corner.
Mm.
And I didn't know why. I just felt I needed a lighthouse, right? And I was being insightful and I was like, maybe it's my faith and it's God leading the way. Like I was trying to be all like
Mhm.
romanticizing what the lighthouse could represent. And then I went to this training to see Teresa Kesley, and I believe it was level 1 or 2. She has 10 levels.
Oh,
And then she has
oh,
10 levels,
wow.
and her level about grief is it,
Wow. I want to
I
take.
can just geek out for a whole hour just about her, but I'll try not to.
Mhm.
But her directive was for us to divide the tray into the family members that we had in our immediate family, and then put 3 to 5 pieces that represented each family member, right?
Wow.
And sometimes I use that with families also whenever they do Sandtray. And there's a difference between putting 3 to 5 pieces that represent one person than just putting one piece that represents that person.
Oh, wow. You see different
Because
parts of them.
like if I say, oh, put 3 to 5 pieces that represent that, and I have like Superman, but I also have Hulk and the Flash, and then I have a
Mm.
more full idea of what that all the parts of that, right? Instead
Yeah.
of being Hulk or just Superman or just an army man or whatever.
Mhm.
So I had done the square like the areas for my 2 daughters and for me, and I
Uh-huh.
was in the area of my ex, and I was missing pieces for him, and I didn't know what else to pick. And I'm looking at my tray, and I was missing the lighthouse. And so I went and grabbed the lighthouse and I put it where I was put it, and then I realized like, he's the lighthouse. He has been the lighthouse in everything. And then it dawned on me 6 months later, right? When
Wow.
I was ready to understand and realize what was coming in the tray. Because before, maybe I wasn't ready to understand and realize those pieces, but I just trust that whatever needed to come to the surface was coming to the surface.
And it did. Oh my goodness. So the pieces that you looked at it and it's like there's something missing. I don't know what goes there. And then the lighthouse, that was like the piece had been there all along.
And then it's like, oh, this is what the lighthouse has meant all this time.
Wow.
So one of the questions I always ask at the end of the tray, whenever a person seems to be done, I tell them to take a deep breath, connect with the tray, notice your tray.
Yeah.
Is it missing anything? Does anything else needs to come and join these pieces, right?
Oh,
And people look at it and they're like, you know what? And then they walk and then they keep looking, right? Because I don't know, especially adults just feel like, oh, I already spent 5, 10 minutes. I'm done. Like, let's
yeah.
move on, right?
Like
And
I'm done with that. Here it is.
yes, let's analyze this. And sometimes
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? Let's not even. Do you feel like we need to talk about this? They're like, nope. I was like, okay.
Yeah, it's in the process, which is amazing. The actual process. Well, I'm excited about doing Sandtray. Can we? I
Yeah.
want you to be my therapist.
Well, I do want to say this because we did talk about school counselors, right? And sometimes in a school setting, you might not have a closet full of
Yeah,
miniatures. You might not have time to put all those miniatures away, all those images. So the power of images is so strong. I remember in one of the APT trainings, Terry Cotman had a bunch of stickers,
yeah,
right? And then I had like this journal. She had like bags and bags of stickers. And during the whole training, I just kept picking stickers and putting them on like this piece of paper that I had in front of me and where I was doodling. And then at the end of the training, I looked down and I realized this is a sand tray. I just made
wow.
a sand tray in this white piece of paper with all these stickers. Like I created a story and a narrative without
With
even
connection.
realizing, right?
Yeah,
Or with my teenagers, um, we do collages. So I have all these magazines, like old magazines. I went around asking all my family and friends, to donate any magazines. And so they love just cutting there and putting all those images into those pieces of
yeah.
paper. And even virtually, I started doing Google Slides. So
Oh,
a kid will open a Google slide, right? And then they will just insert image from the web and they'll just Google like waterfall, a tree, like, and then
Wow.
they'll save that slide. And then what the best thing is that the next time that we meet virtually, there's another slide, and they just keep adding slices. And so it's like their little slide deck
Oh, it's
of
like
all
a
the
comprehensive like timeline. Wow. And then Google's images, you have like all you could ever want and then some.
and you crop it and they manipulate it, they flip it, right? And then they create this little perfect card, in their
That's
Google
brilliant.
Drive. And that's, if you think about, the tray is the container, it holds the images in there, you know what I mean? It just and
Yeah,
it's virtually.
that's brilliant. In fact, like if you had Google Slides, you can always put like a Canva like graphic over it to make it look like a Sandtray. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's in the sticker thing. You were telling a story. It's the same concept, same like underpinnings of Sandtray. It's like coming out all day long with
And it's
Dr.
just the
Carver.
power of images, right? It's the power of images. And you don't need to have every single piece,
Yeah,
right? Like sometimes I have a kid that says, Miss Claudia, you don't have a mailbox. And I'm like, that's right, I don't have a mailbox. Let's just make one, right? And we get the pipe cleaners and the paper, whatever, and then they'll get another like one time I had a kid use the witch's cauldron, and there's like, this could be the mailbox, and then they flip it side, and then he put the little letters on the side, right? They just make it work, and they make it happen.
they make do with whatever. I think about like one of my most used miniatures is like I learned this from Pam Dyson like on a Facebook post years ago, taking the thing that the oranges come in and it can be used to like trap things. And
Yeah.
also the strawberry container has been a gel before. That one's been a gel, it's been all kinds of stuff. So
Dollar Tree is one of the easiest places to go and get cheap, like, not expensive miniatures. Michael's has all those coupons. I know in Texas we have
yeah,
Hobby Lobby. Um, and then there's people like Mama Owls that make their own
yeah.
miniatures, and Marshall's Miniatures, and all these amazing people who, can't
We'll
be.
put links below in this to them too. Give a big shout out to Marshall's Miniatures and there's a big Sandtray workshop there in Austin, which is amazing. I mean,
Oh,
gosh, I feel it even.
Marshall Miles is it's just love package in a human.
He is, and his wife is so like just she like runs the whole miniature business. She's just such an incredible person. She's so knowledgeable and so kind and so friendly
I
together.
did
So
Marshall. I said before, Marshall was my friend and Heather was Marshall's wife, right?
fun.
And now I said, but Marshall, now Heather's my friend, and you're like Heather's husband. Like, you've been traded, and he's like, okay, because she is very sweet and they're both just lovely, lovely humans. They're
Yeah,
family.
and those of you like looking for great Sandtray therapy trainings, especially they have a lot of advanced trainings that I mean, and they host people there too. Definitely worth your resources, your time, energy, and money. It's worth every bit of it.
I can give them a tour of Austin if they come see Marshall
Yes,
Isles.
yeah. We
I'm
talked
like,
about
I'm the official greeter for Austin, Texas.
yeah. And I ate some of the best food there. Okay, so I'm getting off on a tangent. Okay, so I'm excited about my Sandtray session.
So take a deep breath. I'm
Okay,
gonna turn on the light because I feel my face is kind of dark. Is that better?
perfect. Yeah. Oh, yep. Up
Okay.
there. Stand up there. Okay.
So take a deep breath. Hold it. Let it go. Take another deep breath. Let it go. And I'm gonna slowly show you some of the images. First, I'll do the shells. And let's see what calls your name.
Oh, the door right there is jumping out of me right away. The door and the tea light.
The
The
door.
brown one. Yeah, right, no, in front of that. There's like a arch door. Yeah, that one.
Okay.
And then one of the tea lights there.
Okay.
Okay. And let's see what else do you, oh, definitely, angel, the angel, one of the angels.
This one or
Yep.
the little ones?
The one up top that you had first. Okay. Let's see. Oh, the the goofy dog looking with the, oh no, like elephant. That's an elephant. The elephant one.
Oh,
That's the Dr. Seuss one.
that one, right?
Mm-hmm.
I have some rocks there and some coming down.
Well, the sailboat, definitely the sailboat up top.
The sailboat. There's two. Let's see.
That one in front, the simple one.
The little one. This one. Oh, this one. The
Yeah.
simple.
And as you're balancing the laptop, thank you for doing this. You're so sweet.
I'm an expert already. I lift weights. I got this.
You got this. You do. You go to the gym. Oh, definitely a bridge.
Which bridge?
The one, yeah, that one. That one.
This one?
Yeah. No, the one you first pointed to. That one, yeah. That's interesting that you pointed to. You've done that a few times, like exactly the one I'm thinking of. I think I'm almost done. Do you have any stones?
My stones are in the. Oh, here, I'll show you. So my stones are down here. The
Ooh,
little buckets.
nice.
So I have pink.
Okay.
I have shells.
Okay.
And I have black stones. I know you like black stones.
How about 3 black stones and 3 shells and 3 pink stones?
And I'm gonna put this. All your pieces are in one corner, but you're gonna tell me how do you need them set up.
Okay.
So where would you want the door?
The door right on the right butted up against the back, yeah, right there, kind of buried kind of deep in the sand. Perfect, right there.
And then I think after that you said the tea light.
The tea light. That would be on the other side of the door, I think.
Like on the side or
Behind it to where we can barely see it. Oh, you can see it behind the thing. Oh,
see it right there. It's right there.
oh wow, okay. Oh,
And then let's see. I don't remember what was next, but let's do the bridge.
the bridge, like right in the center, in that direction, like right in the center. Yes, right there.
Okay.
Oh, I just felt like a tightness in my chest. I don't know why. I know I have a meaning for it, but I just felt that. The angel, I think in the far corner, I feel like I'm playing pool where I'm like the
Right.
far corner, a ball in the socket. That one,
Facing
yeah,
forward. Okay.
yeah, that one. Oh, right, will that balance on the top of the bridge?
Let's try it. We'll find out. Sure did.
Oh, it did, and it's a little wobbly too. That's perfect. Um, the just buried under the sand.
Buried under the sand. Anywhere?
Um,
Anywhere to
I
stop.
yeah, like in that area right there in the big open space, kind of like an area that's not even alive anymore.
And then you have the 3 shells, the 3 black rocks, and the 3
Yeah. So I think I would like alternating like a pattern, like one of each to make a line from the door to the walls. So yes.
so maybe. So which one goes first?
The black.
The black. Okay. Oops.
Oh, I love it. And she stayed standing. Okay, and then the shell or the pink one, either one.
Pink and then shell.
Beside of it. Beside of it.
Like this?
Yes, going, yeah, horizontal. And just kind of randomly putting them. It doesn't have to be a pattern. It could be just a full line to make it to where there's like a line going from side to side.
Like this?
Yes.
Spread. So I want you to take a deep breath and notice your tray. Does
Wow.
it need anything else? Is it missing anything?
Um, yeah, I think it needs like some swirly, some design in the sand, just like if you could take your hand and just make some swirls all around it.
Like this?
Yes. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, it's making me tear up a little bit. I'm not sure why I wanted that, but
Your body needed it.
yeah,
We don't need to know why.
we don't. And the fact that it's your hand. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Okay, all right, I think it's complete.
So tell me, what do you feel in your body?
Um, Sentimental, like really grateful. Um, just feeling a sense of gratitude. As even I'm saying that, I'm kind of thinking about the things I'm grateful for and maybe even what some of the meaning would be behind there.
Oh, well, tell me, what's the meaning?
Um, my mom, my mom is such an important part of my life, and she died back in 2015. And today, gosh, I didn't even know this would even come out. I literally, this is amazing. I drove by, which I do every once in a while. I drove by the house that I grew up in. And today, my daughter and I picked her up from school, and I was like, let's drive by Granny's old house. So we drive by, and we look like stalkers because like driving by real slow. I'm like, oh my gosh, look, they changed this. There's a new flower pot. Just looks so strange. But I miss her so much. When I go to that house, it feels like I'm with her. And in that tray, it makes me think about like today, I literally thought about like, um, I wish I could just pull up in the driveway, open up the door, and say, "Hey, mom, I'm home. What do you have for dinner?" And the light behind that door makes me think about like that light's still on, even though she's physically not here. Like she's there. And I think about the sailboat, like when she was alive, I've lived on a sailboat. And that part of my world is gone. Like as my ex-husband and everything like that, we lived on a sailboat, which there were some positives from that, but it's definitely buried and gone. And I've been thinking about that lately because Christmas and like the kids going to
Yes.
over there, which I didn't think that would bother me, but it kind of does. Not that they're going over there, but I'm gonna be by myself.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
not with your babies. You're not with your mom. So why don't you
yeah.
close your eyes for a second? Close your eyes. Let it go. And I want you to walk up that driveway to the house. And you open the door. And she's right there waiting. And you just hug her
Mm.
and hold her. And you can just feel her love entering your body, into your heart. You can feel the warmth behind the door and that light.
Ooh, I feel it. I can feel my body getting hot.
What would she whisper in your
Are you hungry?
ear? Yeah, that sounds like a mama. That sounds like my mama.
Girl, my mouth is actually watering and my body's getting hot. That is amazing.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I feel like I just been with her. Thank you. Ooh,
She's you. You're the door.
mm, wow. I'm that big old elephant standing on that bridge looking like a fool, living my best life, just being silly. And I have her backing me up. And Oh my goodness, the angel.
She's right in the corner.
Oh my goodness.
And here you are living your best life on top of the world. I mean, technically, I'm not supposed to be touching the miniatures, right? So if you were here, my hands would not be touching the sand and touching the miniatures, and you will be the one doing this.
I
But virtual.
say though, like the virtual piece, I feel the depth of it and seeing you swirl around like on my direction. That felt like I was doing it. That's pretty powerful stuff. Literally, I just drove by my mom's house today. It's
Yeah,
like something I do. I do. I'm waiting for the people to be like, that's weird that black truck keeps driving by. I didn't know that that's just me. My grief from at the time of this recording is 2022 at the end of it. She died in 2015. And, here I am still, which we know grief doesn't have any time, but it came out in the Sandtray and it feels happy, which is interesting. She's an angel.
because you had gratitude for her in your heart. You said you felt gratitude, just seeing all those pieces and knowing she's there, and that you just have her, right? You just have to open the door,
Mhm.
and her light is shining through.
Oh,
Right?
it's so amazing though. Like when I asked you to put the light back there, I didn't even realize that it had a little hole in the door. I didn't even know why. This is like the lighthouse with you
Your
and
brain did. Your brain, your subconscious did. Your subconscious saw all the windows or all the doors and then just knew which one needed to be there, which one belonged.
girl, invoice me. That was the best session. That's so good. Oh my goodness. I feel like when you said that, like you were directing me to like go inside my body and feel I could feel my body getting hot. I could feel the love and my mouth started watering. What would she whisper to you? Like literally,
And then we could,
thank
if
you.
we had a session, I was like, what are you smelling? Right? What is happening right now? What is she whispering to you? What would you say to her? Where would you sit? Describe to me your living room, right? And then connect it to the pieces in the sand tray, right? And what the bridge, what is some of the other pieces? And then we would have spent this whole other time with the boats buried and stuff with the
Yeah.
ice. I was like,
I actually feel really happy about that part. But there is a reason why it's on my mind, and that part is unsettling. So there's me trying to avoid. Like I'm thinking, no, no, let's not right
go
now.
deeper, put it deeper.
Oh my gosh, that's so good. You're such a good therapist. What a great. I was thinking it'd be
Oh,
great.
and I just feel so honored that you share with me this personal story. So thank you.
Oh my
And
goodness, thank
your
you,
mom, I know your mama was a wonderful human and lady to have a daughter like you.
girl.
I'm grateful for her, even though I never met her.
Oh, oh my gosh, that's beautiful. She was. She's so good. She actually, literally, she paid for my EMDR training because when you first start out, you're broke. You don't have any money. And I told her about it. I was like, there's this type of therapy that can literally heal people's trauma to where they don't have PTSD and they don't have to stay in pain their whole life. And she's like, how much does it cost? And I was like $1,500. She's like, what? And I mean, she didn't make a lot of money. She made it happen. And she's like part of all my work. So the fact that she came out in the sand tray, whew, girl, that's
Wanted
beautiful.
to be here. She just wanted to be here with you, right? And say, here I am. You're not
Mhm.
alone. Even though the kids are going with their dad, you're not alone, right?
Yeah. And I'm that angel in the corner, and you can look as goofy as you want on top of that bridge. You can be yourself. I'm the
You
elephant
can be your happy, authentic self.
being all like, you know how we are as like,
Balancing life. I'm just crossing bridges and building bridges. You are building bridges. Just you providing this opportunity for people that never heard about Sandtray, that never heard about play therapy. You're opening doors, right? You're bringing the light for them so that they can help other children, other play therapists. They can serve more families, more children. You're just it's a ripple effect that is just going to grow and expand, and you have no idea how many people you're going to bless or how many people you have blessed with all the symposiums and all the work you do putting these trainings together and all this all the videos that you do and the promoting. You're just expanding and you're giving and you're just that light that your mama put in your heart.
Girl, thank you.
I
Oh
love
my
you.
goodness. This is so beautiful. The power of, and I'm not in Austin. I'm in Florida. You're in Austin. I had I mean, like, we don't have any fancy recording equipment. You're on your laptop. I'm on my laptop. It's literally at the time of this recording, it's almost 9 p.m. where I'm at. It's almost 8 p.m. where you're at. And I just had a life healing experience. Like, I've never even told anybody that I drive by the house, except for my daughter was with me, Angel, which is interesting. And she's like, we're going to drive by Granny's house again. And it's the thing that I do. I'd say it's about once a month, maybe. And it happened today. And that's me trying to kind of connect with her. And I feel like I just did it. And wow, I do feel witnessed in a big way. Thank you. Thank you.
I
All
love
right.
you. Yes, and you know if I was there, I'd be like giving you a big ol' hug and like, oh, come here. Yeah.
Oh, I can imagine what kind of therapist you are. Okay. So let me pull it back together. So if anyone is interested in, say, your consultations, your supervision, any support for like individuals, groups, so I know you even like help out agencies. What's the website information? I guess I'll link to it down below, but just in case someone's listening, and they're not looking at the screen, where can they find you or learn more from you?
So my website is www.evergreenjourneycounseling.com. And so I am north of Austin, like 20 minutes north of Austin in Georgetown, Texas. And I've done presentations and virtual presentations, and I do supervision, and I'm excited to be a registered play therapist supervisor. And I'm really hoping to get more school-based registered play therapists and more people of color and people, like, and bilingual people that they need to know how to say some of these parts in Spanish, right? Some of the terminology, because sometimes you might be able to speak Spanish, but you might not know the terminology to say those, and the neuroscience behind and all those like big fancy words. So it really is my passion to expand play therapy and Sandtray and to help people that might not have the access to it have the access so they can better help the population they work with, right? And especially people of color that, and people of different disabilities, just diversity and inclusion and equity, and just promoting those pieces. I think that's really important too.
Your heart coupled with your brain and your wisdom and your skills and your experience. What a gift. What an absolute gift you are. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for joining us and for witnessing our time together. And anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed every second of it just as much as we both did.
Yes.
Eyesight from everything at the bottom.
Became a mighty battle cat. And I became He-Man.
Can I hide with you?
Oh, you want to know if you can hide with me or if I can hide with you. You choose. Would you like to hide together?
You hide with me.
Now we're under here.
28, 29, 30. Ready or not, here I come. Thank you.